Howdy y'all, it's Kate from The Lifestyle Lady. Welcome to my channel. Today is a video request I had from someone who watches my videos and also a friend of mine who was talking about makeup brushes. What makeup brushes are essential, what ones should I have, what shouldn't I have? Here's my feeling on makeup brushes first of all. There are so many you can buy, different sizes, different shapes, different brands, drugstore, high-end. I mean, most big makeup houses, brands, all produce brushes. And you can easily get lost and be buying and spending as little or as much as you want. So I will say this, I actually don't have a huge, vast amount of brushes. I have enough brushes and I have over the time worked out what works for me and what doesn't work. And this video by no means is like, you must have these or you mustn't have these. It's very much about what works for you. But I want to share with you the things that I find that work. Now, the ones I'm showing you today are an essential kit, but they're not, these are things I would use every day. They're not necessarily all I would use if I was going out for a big evening, but these are the things if you were looking for a look, going to work, meeting friends, even as a mum going to the playground, if you're somebody like me who just wants a little bit of coverage, a little bit of something on, these will get you through. These are workhorse tools. All of the things I'm going to talk about today I've had for quite a long time. I do look after my brushes, it's like anything. I wash them regularly, I care for them. If that's something you're interested in how I do that, please let me know, I can do a video on that. But I specifically just want to go through some of the things that I use that I find that work. So first and foremost is like whether you use a foundation, a powder, a tinted moisturizer, a BB cream, a CC cream, however, cream or powder, whatever you use, I think it's essential to have the right tool for putting that on your face because that really sets the face first of all. I think also what's very important is what works for some people may not work for others. Now, I'm going to very quickly talk about the four different different ways you can apply foundations, the different tools you can use, and whether one works for you or whether you might have a combination of the few. So let's crack on, stop waffling and crack on. So these are the first things I wanted to talk about, these here. And you're gonna want, because there's also fingers. Now this is a traditional foundation brush. It's called a foundation brush. It can be used for CCs, BBs, everything. It's just called a foundation brush. As you can tell, it's it's tightly compacted in, it's flat. It's very similar to like a paintbrush effectively. So this is one way of doing it. And you could easily get away with doing that. That's very good. Now, here's my issue. These are great, but how can you get really good blendability? It's very difficult to really blend in around the neck, I think, with one of these. So there's some alternatives to this. You could use this first off, but there's some other alternatives. Now, this is my daughter, little Elle's favorite thing to play. I can't tell you how many of these things I've been through. A beauty blender. Now, if you don't know what one of these is, this is a beauty blender. It's basically a sponge. I tend to slightly dampen mine, and it's really great for applying. Now, this is great as well if you don't want too heavy a coverage, but you like that kind of slightly airbrushed look. It helps even out, and I don't know the technology, but it's amazing. Trust me, I've used cheap alternatives. They don't work as well. This one's very good. I know that Real Techniques do one that you can buy in the drugstore, which is also pretty good. It's slightly different shape, but same idea. These are great. Slightly damp, as I said, you can really make sure that you get in wherever you need. And it's also a great way of just making sure that, heaven forbid, you have any fine lines or wrinkles, which of course most of us don't. But if you do, it's a really delicate way of making sure that it's covering effectively and not kind of creasing. And I think these really help with that. So if you're someone who does suffer particularly with creasing around your nose or a mouth or by your eyes, a beauty blender would really help you. This is also really light and great for like the gym, or if you just for your makeup bag. They're really great and they're easy to wash. Another way of doing it is with a kabuki brush like this. This one's by Tarte. I really like this one. I tell you why I like it. Again, it's very cozy compacted. It has a short handle and it's really great for making sure that you've blended everything in. I'm just making sure I have. That you don't have the orange tire marks, which if you're anything like me, you always have a man in your life who's prepared to highlight that fact to you in an embarrassing place. So this I love. I also have one in the travel size, which comes with me in my makeup bag. Fourth thing is your fingers. I like to use my fingers in makeup application. As I said earlier, not everyone does. I like the heat they produce. I like the way I can feel my skin. I can feel for things. I like it. But generally, I would use this brush, the flat lay brush, if I was gonna use heavy makeup for an evening out or for an event or that sort of thing. Generally, that's what I use it for. Also depends on the product. If I was applying a foundation, say, that's particularly runny, I would find one of these very good at sort of managing that. So there's a time and place, and some people love these, and there's a place for everything. Generally, my tinted moisturizer or CC cream is applied with either this or this with my fingers, because I just like to do this just to make sure that everything is blended in. So I do like that, and I particularly like using this at the end if you've contoured a bit or you've got some blush and you've got some bronzer. This is a great way of really just making sure everything's blended in, because I like that. But a beauty blender is really great. It's really great for foundation and also really great for concealer. I know people use them for lots more than that, like applying particular highlights and all that sort of thing, but mine specifically is used for concealer and face makeup. Next, what I love, let's do eyes next. Now, I don't have loads and loads of eye things, mainly because I don't hugely make up my eyes in sort of horrendous fashions. I don't have a glamorous life where I can sort of wear elaborate, eye makeup designs. So I keep it pretty neutral. I love, if you've known me for a while, you'll know I do love the art stick type ones, that like the caviar sticks where they're sort of one color. They're more of they're not liquid, but they're a softer, they're not a powder effectively. And I rub one color across my eyes and then blend with another. If I am going to do a powdered look, I will always turn to this. This is by MAC, it's the 217. This is not original to me. Everybody who loves makeup tends to have a MAC 217. I have a few of these. This one I've just washed, and I have another brand new one which I haven't bared to open yet. This is a really holy grail of makeup brushes. I love it. It's so good at picking up eyeshadow, packing it onto the eyelid, and just blending. It's a really, really great brush. And trust me, when you apply eyeshadow with a better utensil, doesn't really matter the eyeshadow brand, you will always get a better result. Trust me, the rubbishy little brushes that come with come with cosmetics, most of them are rubbish. I mean, particularly if you buy from the drugstore, those little firm-edged things, they're a disgrace. Please invest in a decent brush. So this one's really good. And the other one I highly, highly recommend, which I use, and these are ones I reach for daily. Now, I've had this so long that I don't even think I can read. I know it's a Bare Minerals brush. It's a Bare Essentials brush. And it is called their Bare Essentials Soft Focus Eyeshadow. Now, this is a lovely, lovely brush. It's got a tapered top. It's incredibly soft, and it is what I reach for every time in terms of just blending out. I'm all about blending. I'm all about not having lines. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous brush. If you can't find a specific brush, I guarantee you some of the great brands, MAC never disappoint with makeup brushes. Bobbi Brown does amazing brushes. If you wanted to look slightly lower in terms of cost, MAC isn't too bad. Real Techniques, they're sold at the drugstore. Their brushes are fabulous. And genuinely, I've been pretty impressed with Sephora's. I think they're pretty good quality. So what you would be looking for ideally in your kit is a MAC 217 or something similar, which is soft and fluffy, looks a bit like I know I have friends who go to an art store and buy paintbrushes, but it has that very kind of fluffy texture that can pick up the eyeshadow, pick up the pigment and put it on your eye beautifully. Then you want a blending brush like this one, soft, that can blend out the lines. Really, really good. Now, if you're one that goes to the gym or you've got a makeup bag, you change your makeup or reapply, I recommend, you know, this one I think is Urban Decay. Urban Decay, I bought this one, I don't know why, but this one has, again, the same sort of mantra. A brush here, sort of slightly firmer to place pigment, and then this one slightly softer to help blend out. You can buy them, you know, that there would be my essentials for eyes. I feel I've got to crack on. Next, blush, bronzer, whether you apply brush, bronzer and highlighter or sculptor, or, you know, whether you contour or not, everyone wears blusher, please, goodness gracious. And if you don't use bronzer, you should, because honestly, something I found in the last few years, and it's transformed, I feel, like the warmth of my skin. Now, to do so, there are two brushes that I love and I always go to. This one, which is a Sephora brush, it is their Pro Angled Contour Brush 75, and literally, as you can tell, it's on a slant. What's fabulous about this is, particularly if you're going to apply a bronzer or a contour, you really can ensure that you're getting the product evenly distributed down your cheeks like this, especially if you're not using like a stick formation, you're using genuinely using a powder. It's again quite pigmented but soft and allows you to get that definition you need, but also allows you to blend out, which is important. So that's a really, really good brush. I reach for that most days. When it comes to blusher, I'm old fashioned. This one again is another Bare Essentials. I don't even know if they're still in, if they are still a line, a brand, but this one, and that tells you how long. I mean, I've probably had these 20 years. My goodness me. But I do look after them. And this is a handy bouquet brush. And I love this because, again, tight formation, can get plenty of pigment, and I can place it exactly where I want. I can get it tightly on my skin, and then it has the softness to blend out. You're getting a habit here of the kind of makeup tools I like. And again, everything I apply, I use my fingers a lot. I like the warmth of my fingers. I like to feel, and I think it helps your skin, but that's it. Lip-wise, I lip line, but I tend to, unless it's a red or a very dark color, like a very deep red or a purple, not that I really wear those shades, I would use a lip brush. But I don't have a specific one that I think, oh my goodness, I've got to have that one. I think they're all pretty much of a muchness. I think I have a retractable one in my makeup bag, but I seldom use them, honestly, because it's usually just a lip balm or a tinted lip balm or a lipstick that I just apply myself with a lip liner. So that's lips. Finally, a really, really good face brush, by which I mean to apply like a face powder all over. I always reach for this. This is the Sephora Round Brush 120. It really is a big, big brush. And I love it because, particularly because I'm a big fan of the Laura Mercier, or I know Rimmel, I think it's Rimmel that do a really good pressed powder. Just particularly when you live in a warm climate like I do, where you get high shine and you just want to set your makeup. This is so good for just finishing off. Now, you don't want to carry this one around with you or travel with it. Now, there are lots and lots of alternatives to small ones. This is a small one. This is a natural kabuki. This is Sephora. Again, I told you I like Sephora, probably because I'm there and I can see them and I can pick them out. Again, slightly firmer than this, not quite as soft, but again, you can get it all over, very small, fit it in your handbag, and also great for reapplication during the day if you're getting a bit of shine and you just want to put a bit more powder on. And also really good too to push against, just to make sure everything is in place and everything is blended. That's very important. So that's it with my grail of makeup brushes. What ones do you like? Are there ones I need to try that you would highly recommend? Please do get in touch. I love to hear from you. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have to, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not subscribed, please do so. Come and join in the fun. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. Ta-ta for now.